Look at me, I got my badge. I got my badge of honor. I march drum corps. What's up, everybody? It's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech, and today I want to talk about drum corps as a badge of honor. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I think this goes back to when I was marching. I always heard this question: what corps did you march? Now, even today, when as Carl Drum Tech and as a social media guy, you know, like I do see this question a lot. I get this question asked a lot, you know, as far as like, you know, what corps did you march? Where did you march? Did you march? Things like that, right? And I think most of the time, it's really just curiosity, right? People are just curious, like, did you march? And if so, where? It's a great way for us to connect, you know, for us in the activity. And, you know, I'm saying like that's really most of it, what it's all about is just like having that connection. It's like if I march somewhere, I want to be able to connect with you if you march somewhere, and then we can kind of connect on that level. But I think a lot of times there are some people who kind of just like use it as a means of like saying, hey, did you march drum corps? And if not, well, then you're kind of devalued as a member of the activity. Like if you only did marching band or you only did your high school group and then that's it, and therefore you don't have that pedigree or that badge of honor. Look at me, I got my badge. I got my badge of honor. I march drum corps. Yeah, respect me. Bow down and kiss my feet. If you do drum corps as a means of like saying, okay, well, now I've marched, now I have the badge of honor, now I can go around saying, yeah, I marched drum corps, and I'm now part of the group, I'm part of the crowd, the cool kids, so to speak, and other people kind of accept you for that as like, you know, yeah, you're part of our crew now, you're part of our crowd, and there's nothing necessarily anything wrong with that. It's very human nature for us to kind of want to have a sense of belonging and have some type of, you know, entryway into that group. But I think if that's the only reason you march drum corps, I think you're marching drum corps for the absolute wrong reasons, okay? And it's not an ego thing, it's not a badge of honor, it's not something where it's like, you know, you're cool now because you march drum corps. I mean, there's plenty of people who didn't march drum corps or march at a very high level and are still very awesome members of the activity. I mean, you know, I can go down the list as far as like people who, you know, maybe even didn't march like a top 10 group or top 12 group, and they're successful instructors in the activity. So, you know, marching a top 12 group isn't everything. Marching a drum corps isn't everything. I mean, I've also met good instructors who have never marched at all either, right? And I think a lot of times people use it as an ego thing, right? For their own ego to say, hey, I marched somewhere, now I'm part of like, you know, the circle of cool people. Don't mind the dogs, I'm kind of just babysitting. So, like I said, if you are marching drum corps and using that as a means to validate your ego, I think you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. That's just my opinion. And I think when you ask the question of, did you march somewhere or where did you march, like it's got to come from a place of you wanting to connect with somebody rather than like kind of devaluing them if you don't feel like, you know, like if they didn't march drum corps, then it's like, okay, well, they're not as important, or they're not as, you know, they're not just not part of your group, right? This imaginary group of people that you create, okay? So that is something that I want to impart upon the activity, is like taking away the context of, you know, where did you march? So, because if you didn't march somewhere, then you're not cool, right? I mean, take it from somebody like, when you do end up marching a drum corps, especially even if you march a really high drum corps or a top 12 group, something like that, a lot of times these guys aren't very egotistic at all. Like they end up being, they're just very humble people. You know, whether they march Blue Devils or Vanguard or Cavaliers. I mean, I talked to Way about this, you know, a long time ago, in that like he doesn't like to put it out there that he marched the Cavaliers, because it's not about that to him. It's about like his skills. It's about how he presents himself. It's about him as a percussionist and as an educator, not about him as a Cavalier. Does that make sense? But all the time I'm telling him, wait, you got to put that out there. You got to put it out there as far as like you march Cavaliers, because in, you know, whether it's right or wrong, people kind of like might listen to you more because they know you've marched a top 10 group. And there's nothing necessarily anything wrong with that, having that pedigree to say that, you know, hey, I have this badge of honor and you should listen to me because I've marched at a high level, okay? So there's definitely good and bad in that kind of mindset, but you know, you just can't necessarily devalue people whether they march drum corps or not, whether they march a high, you know, end drum corps or not, whether they march world class or whether they march open class. Like, we're all in this together. like we're all on the same team eventually, and that's something I'm trying to impart upon the entire activity is that, hey, we're all in the same team together. We're all trying to do the same thing. And yes, let's connect. If you march drum corps, cool, let's connect on that level. If you didn't march drum corps, cool, that's cool too, because you're still in the activity. We can still connect on that level. Does that make sense? Don't exclude anybody. Don't devalue somebody. It's all good. Like I said, we're all on the same team. We're all trying to do the same thing, so we can connect on a very even smaller level, right? Like we can connect on the level of just the fact that we're humans, okay? So there is no like, better or worse. There's no like, okay, well, I'm rich, you're poor, we can't connect. Like, that's not cool, right? Like we can connect as human beings, and that is the most important thing we have to realize in terms of just like how we connect to each other, all right? It's not about our status. It's not about the badge of honor. It's not about how many badges or awards or riches that we have. It's about how can we connect as people. Are you a good person? Am I a good person? Can we click on that level? Absolutely, right? And let me just put one more point out there. I mean, like I look at a guy like Garret Kimmel, all right? This kid is like seriously one of the most talented percussionists, marching percussionists, snare drummer in the entire internet that I've seen, right? So just check out his Instagram. He's just, his skills, his talent level, the things that he can do just absolutely blow my mind. And this kid is young, and guess what? He's never marched drum corps. Not yet. And, I think he wants to march drum corps, but even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like this kid, no matter what, whether he marches drum corps or not, is still going to be a phenomenal percussionist, marching drummer, or snare drummer, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever he chooses to be, he's still going to be awesome at whatever he does, right? And I see a lot of comments on his post, like, hey, did you march somewhere? You should march, and I think, again, just to be fair, I'm sure a lot of people are saying, hey, I think it would be awesome to see you in a top 12 group and see you perform, for those groups. I'm in those camps as well, where like, dude, like it would be awesome to see this guy in a top 12 group. But at the same time, I don't think it should be like, well, if he doesn't march drum corps, then like again, he's devalued, or his skills aren't as like, he's not like as important in the activity. He's very important in the activity just because of the fact that he is so skilled and he can connect so many people, and inspire so many people because of his skills. And that's really the most important thing, not whether he marched drum corps or not. You get what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm trying to impart upon you guys today, is that it's all good. And I've said many times, drum corps isn't everything. Marching isn't everything. The activity itself isn't everything. You got to look at the bigger picture, right? So don't use drum corps as a badge of honor. Don't try to bestow that on other people. Like, it's like whether you march drum corps or not, if you're a badass, you're a badass. And if you don't think Garret Kimmel is a badass, I don't know what you're looking at. I mean, check this out.
I like the way you move. I saw you from across the bar. So this is the way I talk. I really would like to taste it. Spanish cuisine you prepare. You're beautiful, we just moving it well.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying, all right? So again, it's all good, all right? So that's what I'm trying to impart upon you guys today, is that let's connect on a human level. Don't use drum corps as a badge of honor, all right? So cool. Hey, hope you guys like this video. If you watched this far, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, all right? Do it right now. And if you have any questions or comments you want to add to the conversation, leave it in the comments below. If you have not subscribed yet after watching all these videos, what the heck are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe. Do it right now, all right? Doesn't take like less than a minute, okay? I mean, it takes less than a minute. That's what I'm trying to say. But also, if you feel like this video could help somebody else out, like, there's people who march drum corps and then like, again, they use it as badge of honor. Like, let's say they're in high school. They go back into high school and then they basically turn into assholes. Like, they're just like, I marched drum corps. Now I know everything. Now I'm better than all of you. You should bow down and, bow down to me and kiss my feet. Like, the idea of you marching drum corps is that you better yourself as an individual, not just your skills, but as a human being. So if you march drum corps and you turn into an asshole, then you didn't get better, really. Your skills might have gotten better, but you overall as a human being did not get better. Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? All right? So be a better person. When you march drum corps, you gotta be you got to join your high school group and inspire people to that level in a very positive way, not in a very arrogant, like, you know, hey, I got this badge, you know, I'm on top of the hill, you're not, and you need to step up to me. Like, it can't be like that. It's got to be like by lifting everybody else up, inspiring them to be at your level. It's cool if they don't, but you're there, right? If they need that help, if they need that guidance, if they need that inspiration, and it's cool. And like whether they do it or not, and if you have that attitude, most of the time people are gonna want to follow you more anyway. Okay, so hopefully you guys got a lot out of that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and catch you later.